Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and in today's episode I want to break it up a little bit and bring to you 3 tips to make you a more profitable gambler. And what I'm going to do is use my recent bets for UFC 287 as a teaching moment for my audience and myself to make all of us better gamblers as we move forward. Thanks everyone for tuning into this video. Alright, I'm going to lay out my first tip to make you a more profitable bettor. Okay. This first tip is trust the tape. In order to be good at betting, or anything in life, is you have to do the research. You can't just willy-nilly put out bets. That's how you're going to go bust and you're going to lose your bankroll, right? So, at UFC 287, I kind of got caught up in the hype a little bit with Raul Rosas Jr. versus Christian Rodriguez. All week I was watching the highlights of Raul Rosas Jr. and all the good things that he did. But I didn't take into consideration all the good things Christian Rodriguez did until later in the week. Maybe a day or two before I placed my bet, I did a small bet, a $50 parlay on Yanez and Raul Rosas Jr. But the day before, I started really digging into the tape on Christian Rodriguez, and I saw a lot of stuff that I liked. I mean, he was extremely durable. He had great elbows in the clinch. He had really good takedown defense. He was able to build a base and get back to his feet when he was taken down. All these attributes that counter Rosas Jr.'s strengths, where he comes out flying hard first, and then he slows down as the fight goes forward. So, at minus 250 odds, I probably should have laid off some of that risk and maybe stayed away from this fight, considering he's on a pay-per-view card, he was 18 years old, and the tape on Christian Rodriguez, all the things that he did really well would counter what Rosas Jr. does well. So, get back to this tip is trust the tape. You really got to put the research in and try to look at it as unbiased as possible. I kept saying in my later reviews later in the week how good Christian Rodriguez looked, but I still thought that my initial thoughts were better. And that's never true. The more research you do, the more you're going to be accurate in picking fights or football games or basketball games. And with fights specifically, there are things that fighters do and don't do that either help them or mitigate what they can do in these fights. So if I would have listened to my instincts and trusted the tape that I saw, I would have stayed away from this bet. Next, we're going to go into the second tip. Remove emotion. We all have our favorite sports teams, we have our favorite players, we have our favorite fighters. And I actually want to stay away from those types of bets. So this past week with the Jorge Masvidal fight, I was trying to will a win for Jorge Masvidal when it was abundantly clear that Gilbert Burns was going to be able to take him down and hold him down. Especially after I saw the weigh-ins, and Jorge Masvidal was in not great shape, especially compared to Gilbert Burns. And Masvidal is only 2 years older than him, but it looked like they were 10 years apart. Gilbert Burns was in amazing shape, and in his last few fights, he's been through the ringer. Khamzat Chimaev is an absolute killer, and Jorge Masvidal has got controlled in all 3 of his last fights. So, even though I wanted Jorge Masvidal to win, and when you become emotional, you start to cloud your own judgment. So you want to remove as much emotion as you can out of the bets that you make. So, I would stay away from betting on your favorite teams, your favorite players, or your favorite fighters. If I would have listened to my own advice, I wouldn't have wanted Jorge Masvidal to win so badly. I wouldn't have want these long shot bets with the knockouts or the TKOs and kind of will them into existence. I only put a $20 bet on there, but still, sometimes your emotions get the best of you and you're like, I think this is going to happen. It could happen. It might happen. No. Try to remove all emotions to your bets and you will 100% be way more successful at gambling over the long term. We have one more tip that I'm going to give you guys to make you a better gambler, and it is bet small at first. Say you put $100 on your bankroll. Start with $5 and $10 bets and try to get that bankroll up to $200. And if you double your bankroll, then maybe you start doubling your bets. So those $5 bets become $10 bets, and those $10 bets become $20 bets. You really want to get good at managing your bankroll. And you don't want to put all your chips into one hat, even if your thesis is like, this is absolutely going to happen. Because in sports especially, shit happens and you can go bust. So you want to keep your bets like around 5% of your bankroll at most. Maybe 10% if you're super gung-ho on your bet, then maybe do 10%. But if you do small bets, it gives you the opportunity to build your bankroll up. And as your bankroll continues to grow, then you can start to grow your bets as the snowball starts to happen. We really want to build our bankroll slow, make smart bets, and look for opportunities that we can't pass up. And then we can slowly increase those bets and hopefully accumulate a bigger bankroll over time. And if we keep those bets around 5%, 10% at max, you're going to keep your bankroll. And if you're betting 5% of your bankroll and you go bust, maybe betting is not for you. Or if you're only losing $100, it's a great learning process, right? You're not putting $500 on this fight, $250 on this fight, or $1,000 on another fight and blow up your bankroll. It's just like poker. You need to have a strategy and stick to that strategy. Because if you get away from it, that's when you go bust. So if you follow those 3 tips, I guarantee you will become more profitable and you will have more fun betting. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. And if you like this video, let me know in the comments and I'll continue to give you more betting strategy videos, more bets. This way we can all build our bankroll together. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and we'll catch you guys on the next fight.